Good afternoon, everyone. I come from a country where being a woman is a crime. Journalism is a crime. Being LGBT is a crime. Being a dissident is a crime. Protesting is a crime. Being a human rights activist is a crime. The number of crimes and restrictions in my country are so high that there is no space for freedom. These crimes are punishable by arrest, torture, lashing, imprisonment, rape, and execution. I am here today to receive this special award because of my fight, even if this fight was not my choice. It was my duty. At the age of 14, I was a victim of the morality police for the first time. I believed that it was my duty to fight against the compulsory hijab. Ever since, I learned that a woman's voice, a woman's dance, and a woman's body were forbidden. I have been fighting for women's rights. When my father was imprisoned, he was locked away for 4 years and whipped 74 times for protesting against the Islamic Republic. As a result, I could only see him once a week through glass, and I understood it was my duty to fight for the freedom of expression. When I witnessed people being executed for no reason, I decided to fight against the executions. Finally, when I saw that the government was taking the lives of innocent people because of street protests, I decided to fight against the Islamic Republic's very nature. After my fifth arrest of human rights activism, it only made me more determined to continue my fight. The clothes I wore every day to leave the house were not ordinary clothes, but war clothes, and outside the house was a battlefield. I took every opportunity to walk without the mandatory hijab in the street, and I was sharing my picture on social media. It didn't take long for them to come for me. When I went to the morality police building, I was also 22 years, and I was integrated in the same building where Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old Iranian girl, was murdered sometime later. Before entering the building, I made a video of myself with my scarf over my shoulder and shared it on my social media pages. I announced that I was not afraid of being arrested or being threatened, and I was saying no to the compulsory hijab and the Islamic Republic. My father, who was with me and supporting me, was beaten in front of my eyes. We were both arrested, and he was sentenced to 74 lashes, while I was sentenced to jail and fined. The judge said that the hijab is a mandatory law and you have to respect it. I replied that the slavery was also a law at one time. As a woman and as a citizen of this country, I not only disregard this false law, but I strive to destroy it. The last time I came out of prison, I was expelled from university. I was not allowed to work. We were banned from leaving the country, and I was sentenced to 6 years in prison. They wanted to put so much pressure on me that I would surrender and not be able to leave. But I was fighting to leave and be free. I was not permitted to leave the country, and I decided to illegally escape from Iran. In the last moments, the border guards opened fire on me several times. For the last time, I looked at my homeland from the top of the mountain. I had to leave my motherland, which I loved so much. There I decided to fight for all those who chose to live the life of an exile until the day when their country is a safe place to live. The day when being a woman is no longer a crime in this country. The day when the answer to protest will not be a bullet, and no one should be imprisoned for his opinion, and no one should be sentenced to death for protesting. Today, it has been 513 days since my father was disappeared, like so many other Iranians who are seeking freedom. I realized that I had to fight harder and harder for the life that has been stolen from me, my family, and the people of my country by the Islamic Republic. As I am speaking to you today, many Iranians are fighting in the streets, and it is a daily exercise to achieve freedom, and they know that freedom is the only way to be saved. In the protest that followed Mahsa Amini murder, at least 530 people were killed, including 64 children, and at least 500 people were shot in the eye. Tens of thousands of protesters have been arrested, and more than 100 are facing the death penalty, for whom have been executed so far. Their names were محسن شکاری، مجید رضا رهنورد، محمد مهدی کرمی, Muhammad Hosseini. All of them were under 40 years old, and all were professional workers and athletes. The Iranian people are deprived of their most basic rights and have no choice but to fight back. Our revolution has not stopped. These days, despite all the repression, Iranian women go to war against the Ayatollah with their hair as a weapon. We are on road to a glorious revolution of women life and freedom. The protests and repression have also affected Iranian universities and schools. It is a huge crime that the government is attacking the girls' school with the chemical gas to take revenge on the women. Many female students are taken to hospital because of the poisoning. I am speaking to governments, institutions, and free-minded people around the world. Today, when the Islamic Republic is in its most vulnerable position, support the brave men and women of Iran. Treat the criminal government of the Islamic Republic as an occupier, and list the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, whose duty is to protect the government and kill people, as a terrorist organization. Because my country is being occupied by one of the most ruthless dictators in history, and my people have been taken hostage. Taking hostages has become a tool to silence the opposition and win concessions from Western governments. I thank you for honoring me with this award. I dedicate it to my brave companions, especially the Iranian women who are fighting daily against a government that is aggressively anti-women, anti-life, and anti-freedom. They won't give up until they achieve their goal, and their resilience is an inspiration to the world that is watching. The victory is ours. Women, life, freedom.